Hello, my name is Cheryl Schaefer. I'm host and producer of Veterans Helping Veterans TV. Today, we're filming on location at the historic AMVETS Post 2 in Culver City. I'd like to introduce my first guest, Deedra DeCoster. Deedra, can you tell me a little bit about your military background?
Yes, I joined the United States Navy, a wonderful feat for myself, in 1986, and I stayed in for a brief stint until 1989, where I became a service-connected disabled veteran. And I was a storekeeper third class on the USS Prairie. I actually was stationed in the male berthing, surprisingly enough, as a storekeeper in the Supply Support Center. So that was my first real big experience in life, was the United States Navy.
So you were kind of like in the belly of the beast, so to speak, because you had to go through all those berths to get down to where you worked out on the ship.
Yes, ma'am. But it was a great experience, and it was a lifelong lesson that I carry with me, and I try to share my story as much as possible and really promote the fact that there are women in the military, and we do need to be recognized.
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly why we're doing this program, is exactly for that reason. Now, I know a little bit about your background because I'm retired from the state of California as the EDD vet rep,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I know you currently work for the state of California in the Employment Development Department, and you
Yes,
were
ma'am.
formerly an LVER. So let's talk
Yes.
a little bit about outreaching to veterans through the EDD and why that's so important for veterans to get that.
Sure. Once a veteran is about to discharge, maybe say 6 months before their discharge date, they're in that transition phase where they're going to be experiencing a lot of life challenges. They're going to need to reintegrate themselves, learn life skills, social skills, and coping mechanisms to deal with the civilian community again.
Because it's completely different working in the military and then trying to transition into the civilian.
Exactly. And so I would say the very first stop should be the local EDD office, their Employment Development Department office. This is where they can actually get some kind of subsistence through unemployment insurance. They can also utilize the Job Service Center and also receive transitioning skills and those coping mechanisms and find out what are those triggers that make them either want to go back in the military or feel that they can't be successful in civilian life. So we want to kind of bridge the gap and give them what we used to call the TAP classes. We want them to be able to transition effectively and become productive citizens yet again.
And part of that is informing veterans of what their benefits are, not just through the EDD, but also really through the federal system.
Correct.
Either getting a federal job through the Office of Personnel Management,
Yes.
or USA Jobs, or really getting registered at the VA, because it never ceases to amaze me how many veterans really do not know what their benefits are.
Right. We get those veterans that come into the office daily. They've never been to a VA hospital or don't even know what Veterans Administration really is. They say, oh, I've been in the United States military. I have a family. I have a wife. They're registered with DEERS and TRICARE, but that's as far as it goes. So how come the DOD doesn't talk to the Department of Veteran Affairs? Well, clearly they're two separate government agencies. And so in order to reintegrate them and get them their exit physical, we send them to the Veterans Administration, and they're able to find jobs through USA Jobs. They're able to go to resume writing classes. They're able to get transitioning skills and meet with the Veterans Transition Center. And this helps them really be able to talk about their issues and needs and wants for their future and for their family. And then we actually hook them up with a veterans representative from the EDD, such as an LVER, that's the local Veterans Employment Representative, or a DVOP, which is the Disabled Veterans Outreach Program Specialist. And they're able to work one-on-one with the veteran and their family members, find them sustainable jobs in this downturn economy. There are stable jobs, and then we want to make sure their housing needs are met and that they've applied for all of their veterans benefits
And
that they know about them.
That's the key, because
Yes.
most people, really, I know I said this early, it never ceases to amaze me how much the veterans don't know what they are entitled to.
Right.
For instance, here's a great example. If you're a service-connected veteran rated at 10% or higher, did you know that if you have children, they can go to college for free under the California State waiver system?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is
Both
a
of my
great,
children attend.
there you go. There you go. There's a great example. So I met you about a year ago when you first were thinking about coming into AMVETS.
Yes, ma'am.
And since we are part of the AMVETS Women Veterans Committee, that's one of the reasons I asked you to be a guest on the show, is really what got you into AMVETS? Because AMVETS is a terrific veteran service organization.
It really is. AMVETS has changed my life substantially.
How?
I worked at the EDD, and the veterans would come in the office. For about a year and a half, we were geared on supportive services in California and really making sure about the wellness and wholeness of the veteran so that he could be successful. Then the EDD changed the way they saw the veteran. In order for the veteran to actually qualify to receive veteran services, they needed to be job ready.
And let's really kind of emphasize what that means. In my day, when I was an EDD vet rep, and I retired in 2004, we worked with all the veterans that came into our office, whether they were job ready or not, because
Correct.
part of what we did was to refer them to supportive services. So the goal was for them to become job ready, but they don't do it that way anymore, because
ma'am.
that's because there's too many people that really need work, and the vet rep staff, there probably aren't enough vet reps throughout the whole country
Exactly.
to address all the needs of the veterans, so they really have to kind of
Streamline that process so that
to serve the ones that can be
Right.
served and help immediately and put into a successful career. That doesn't mean that the vet reps won't help you, it's that they're not.
the level of service is diminished.
Exactly right, exactly right. But
Right.
job service, when it was originally started through the Wagner-Pizer Act, I think in the late 30s, it was a direct result of veterans coming home from World War I.
Yes, ma'am.
There were no jobs available. They were selling apples on the street corner for a nickel. So part of what their complaint to Congress was, well, we're going to war, and don't we have a right to have a chance at the American dream as well? And that really is part of why job services throughout the entire country was started, was to give veterans jobs first. And I will tell you, when I got out of the service in 1971, I immediately went into my local EDD office, filed my unemployment claim, and a year later, when I was going to college on the GI Bill, I actually went back to the EDD job service, and I actually got hired working for the EDD.
My story is a bit similar. I actually was looking for work, and I had been unemployed for 16 months, and I went to Experience Unlimited in Torrance, California for business professionals. And I had been a finance director for about 15 years. And I thought, what am I going to do? I wasn't telling my family that I didn't have a job. I was using my 401k, and I didn't meet with a veterans representative because I thought, well, I've been out of the military for a long time, and me being a woman on the job, we didn't tell anyone that we were veterans. You told HR, but you didn't tell your fellow veterans or actually your other subordinates.
And see, you bring up a really good point with that statement. A lot of women that served in the military do not consider themselves a veteran unless they actually went to Iraq or Afghanistan. And that's a misconception here, because
It really is.
you don't have to have served in combat
Women need to know
to get
if
veteran
you
benefits.
served at least one day of active duty, any veteran, anyone served in the United States military.
Including basic training or
No,
exclusive of?
exclusive of basic training.
Okay, very good, okay.
Not included.
Okay,
If you served at least one day of active duty in the United States military, you are a veteran. And that is what we say in the state of California. Now, the Department of Veteran Affairs say something different. But in order for us to really come full circle, women need to stand up and say, yes, I did serve. I served in XYZ branch, and I am entitled to the veteran services and to be treated and recognized. And this is where the military has kind of missed the ball. And now they're coming full circle and saying, yes, there were women that served in these hazardous duty sections, there were women that did serve as federal contractors and still were in the United States military. So now these women need to come forth so that we can actually push the veterans women's movement.
Because we're women veterans here, and the purpose of the show is to outreach to women veterans. The title of the program today is the Year of the Woman Veteran 2013, and the reason I titled it that way was because back in January, the most magnificent thing happened for women in the military, and that was the availability of combat positions being opened up to women. Now that is kind of a double-edged sword. What do you think about that?
Well, I have lots to say about that.
I bet you do.
As a 7th degree black belt and martial artist, I can honestly tell you, the physical ability that one needs to have, we women have it. The mental stability, we women have it. Women need to think in these terms. If you can work full-time, raise children, take them back and forth to t-ball, baseball, be the drive-up, drop-off mommy, take them to school, get them ready, get the husband ready, pack all the lunches, you can be successful in the United States military and the organizations that are there to follow after. If we as women veterans don't help each other to be successful and to learn from our mistakes, our shortcomings, but also our successes and our great moments in our lives, then we won't be able to sustain.
That's true. And part of life after service
Yes.
is getting involved in either a community-based organization or preferably a veteran service organization
Yes.
like AMVETS.
Yes, the reason why I'm in AMVETS today is because in helping veterans on a daily basis, even with the state of California, I was unable to give the level of service, the level of customer service, and the level of attention that that woman veteran, that man veteran needs to move forward and be successful in their lives. So when I provide services, I can't speak for other people. I'm speaking for myself as a bona fide veterans advocate and veterans representative. It's not for who I do it for, it's the intent in which I do it.
You want to pay
The
it
veteran
forward.
comes first.
Yes, ma'am.
It is our duty to take care of this woman veteran. If we lay them by the wayside and we say, you don't have worth, you don't amount to anything, then this is what the mentality is. But the moment that we empower this woman veteran, Eureka, behind every successful man is a powerful woman. I guarantee you. They used to say, behind a powerful man is always a woman. No, behind a successful man is a powerful woman, because this woman is the driver, the key, the builder. When you can build from home, go in the military, come out, take these kids to school, get everything together, get the grades, go to the after-school programs, and still hold up to your commitment of service, even after the military, in AMVETS, you are a successful woman.
Absolutely right. And AMVETS is a wonderful group. They're the 4th largest nationally recognized, congressionally chartered veteran service organization. They want women,
Yes.
veterans to join. AMVETS has some of the best service officers in the state of California.
And that's correct.
And
That's correct.
service officers, for people who may not know what that is, a service officer helps veterans file claims. And that's part of it. We don't want to see a homeless veteran. We don't want to see a jobless veteran. When there are services and agencies there to help you, the
Right.
question is, how do we deliver that help to you to where you do become a success story?
Right.
And that's what we're trying to figure out how to do. And that's really one of the reasons we're doing the program today.
But one of the great things that Lindsay Singh had to say, the Deputy Assistant for Women's Services, is that if we don't empower the woman through conferences and make the women veteran aware, and also the men in the military aware that women veterans are here to stay. We have something to offer, and we need to educate them so they know that they're women veterans, because they're in corporate America.
That's it. And they need to know their rights as veterans,
Yes.
that they are entitled to benefits, that they are eligible for certain programs,
Right.
and to don't sit by the wayside.
Right.
Take advantage of what's available to you, because what happens over time is, guess what? The federal government wants to take away your benefit.
If it was not for the United States military and the benefits that I got when I received that benefits package from the Department of Veteran Affairs, it changed my life. I'm a great proponent of education. I went on the VEEP program, the old VEEP program, and then transferred to the Montgomery GI Bill for a couple of months, and then went to the Chapter 31. And they put me all the way through, up to my master's degree. And I am still currently actively involved in school, and I've been in school 14 years and about to finish my double master's. So I'm telling you, if it was not for the United States military and the benefits that I got when I received that benefits package from the Department of Veteran Affairs, it changed my life. My kids are happier. My life is happier as a woman. My whole outlook on the way the delivery of services should be for women veterans has changed. Because at first I just said, I'm a veteran. I never said I was a woman veteran. Now, being at AMVETS, I am a woman veteran. And I'm here to stay, and I'm here to make changes. And the only way to make changes is to get into a service organization to make changes. You have to change it from the top, not from the bottom. I've learned that. I wanted to make so many changes in the state, and I realized unless I'm out there and being an active proponent and advocate for women veterans, it's not going to change. Every woman has ideas to bring to the table, and those ideas will be seen and they will come to fruition in legislation in Washington, D.C., and they will pass. Eventually, if every woman veteran came up with an idea, put it on the table, it was written into legislation, we would be the powerhouse. It wouldn't be, this man is a veteran. No, the women veterans, they really have their stuff together. This is what we need to see. And through AMVETS, Helen Wong, Lorraine Plaz, they have really taught me how veteran services should work.
When you're in a
and how it
group
should go.
of like-minded individuals,
Yes.
and you have mutually beneficial goals to help yourselves and others, you will probably achieve those goals through a group like AMVETS or
Yes.
the American Legion or the Disabled American Veterans or the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Those are the top 4 VSOs in the nation, and we invite all veterans, but especially women veterans, get involved. Get involved in AMVETS. It's a terrific
It really
group.
is. It really is. And they have a division of AMVETS, which is Gulf Whiskey, Whiskey Tango. And these are the Gulf War and Terror veterans that have kind of fell through the cracks. They either did not go to Afghanistan, Iraq, and did not go to Vietnam. But they're the peace givers. And so those peacekeeping forces, hey, we're out there doing suicide prevention for men veterans, for women veterans. We are also going to the peer program to help the homeless at the VA hospital in Long Beach. We do veterans activity nights on Sundays for veterans that are sick and shut in or hospitalized veterans. We are now moving forward. I'm now am being appointed to the Department of California for women veterans for their college program. So I'll be working with John Castillo and going to the colleges and universities and really recruiting these women for AMVETS. And then also as a District 2 judge advocate. I mean, it's really been a lifelong lesson that I could not have gained.
And she's working full-time.
Yes, and I do work
volunteering.
full-time for the Employment Development Department.
So I just want to put that
And I
out
do
there.
volunteer at least, minimum, 40 hours per month, because this is how I give back.
And that's really that's what all of us do in our involvement in a veteran service organization, trying to find a way to pay it forward for our veterans.
Correct.
Deidre, thank you
must
so
pay it
much
forward.
for
Thank
being
you
a guest
so
on
very
our show.
kindly. Thank you, Cheryl, for having me. I really appreciate your time.
Very good.